So in this session, let's discuss hosting in .NET 6. So to understand how to host into .NET 6, first let's understand what is the difference between .NET 5 hosting model and .NET 6 hosting model. To understand this, let's open the Chrome browser. I have this GitHub repository using this link. You can access my GitHub repository using this link, that is slash prince1harsha slash my app. Here you can see this is where my app has been, this repository has been created in my GitHub page. So inside this page, once you have access to this page, we have this folder API which we had created in our previous section, right? Previous session we had created this API folder. Click on this API folder, and here you can see program.cs, startup.cs. So these two files are from old hosting model. Okay, that is .NET 5 hosting model. To understand difference between .NET 5 and .NET 6 hosting models, first let's copy these two files and put in our project. Okay, so to do that, go to my app. You can click on this and click on download zip, so that all these files and these folders will get copied into your system. Once it's copied, go to your project location. That is, in my case it is see my app. Okay, this is my project location. So inside my project location, go inside API folder, and inside API folder, copy those two files, whichever you downloaded from the GitHub. That is, whatever the files which you downloaded from here, that is program.cs, startup.cs with old hosting. These two files copy into your project location API folder. Okay, so these two you copy here. Once you copy, let's understand how .NET 5 and .NET 6 differ in hosting. Okay, so to understand that, let's switch to Visual Studio Code. So inside our Visual Studio Code, here you can see this is a project which we have opened over here, and here you can find program.cs, startup.cs. If you see here, these two files are having all these using statements, right? So all these using statements, in case of new .NET 6 hosting model, will not be able to see all this hosting, all this using statements over here. So that is the difference between .NET 5 and .NET 6. So if you observe inside properties api.cs project, here you can find that implicit usings has been enabled as part of net 6.0. So whenever we are using .NET 6.0 hosting model, in that case we are configuring inside our api.cs project this implicit usings, and it has been enabled over here. Since it's enabled, we need not have to use explicitly inside our program.cs and startup.cs. We need not use all these statements, using statements over here. So that is one difference between .NET 5 and .NET 6 hosting. Okay, so what else we have? We have, if you observe here inside api.cs proj, here you can find one more thing. What is that? Nullable. Nullable is enabled. So what is the use of this nullable which has been enabled for .NET 6? To understand this, you can just remove this line. Okay, remove this line and save it. You can find that inside one of this file, that is weatherforecast.cs, this nullable operator is used over here. Okay, so this nullable operator is handled in case of .NET 6 by enabling inside our api.cs project, by providing that nullable reference over here, that is nullable enable. Here you can find this nullable operator being used for the string. Now since we have removed that, we can get rid of this so that it complies with .NET 5 hosting model. Okay, Now, what else we need to do changes as part of this? Now you can see that warning went away from here. Previously, we had this warning because that particular nullable operator which we have used over here, we had actually configured that here as part of api.cs project, we had provided nullable enable. Now we have removed it. Warning was thrown inside our weather forecast.cs, which we actually removed that operator from here to comply with .NET 5 changes. Now, what next we have to do? As part of this launch settings.json, okay, here you can find that this is our folder, API folder, okay, and the application URL in this case is here you can find for HTTPS it is hosting on port 7118 and for HTTP it is hosting on 5096. So these are some of the ports which are like by default or random which has been used inside our application URL. Okay, this value. Now we can actually reconfigure these values for our convenience. So let's change this values by hosting it on 5001 for HTTPS and 5000 for HTTP. Okay, save these changes. So these are some of the changes which we are seeing between hosting into traditional .NET 5 hosting model and the difference between hosting into .NET 6 model. If you observe more, you will be able to find more changes which we can see as part of .NET 6, which we will discuss further. Now we have done all these changes to make sure that we understand clearly that there is a lot of difference between .NET 5 and .NET 6. We can get rid of all these unused using statements over here. Here you can see unnecessary using directive. It is showing like this, right? So all this unnecessary using directives, whatever we are using statements, we can get rid of by making use of .NET 6 hosting model. This is globally configured actually. All this stuff is globally configured. If you go to obj, here if you go to debug, .NET 6, here you can find that global usings.g.cs. If you open this file, then you will be able to find globally all the using statements have been configured in such a way that will not be using inside startup.cs or program.cs, which are unused over here. So that is the advantage of using .NET 6 hosting model over .NET 5 hosting model. So going further, we'll continue to use .NET 6 and let's see. And whenever we find any differences between .NET 5 and .NET 6, I'll just let you know so that while upgrading to .NET 6, we'll have a clear idea about what is the difference and how we are actually getting rid of unused statements and unused code inside our project. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and share this video. Kindly subscribe to my channel in order to watch more videos.